The mountains of Appalachia is riddled with the remnants of castles, mansions, and manors lost to time. Each one fallen to pieces, only a tiny piece left of its once glorious existence. Many of them built in the mid-1800s throughout the 1900s. Would you believe me if I told you there was one manor in the mountains of Virginia that has been there since even Thomas Jefferson was a boy? Today, it still stands in its glory as it did so long ago. It is 261 years old. Not built in the 1800s or even the 1900s. No, it predates the Revolutionary War. This place was built in 1764. What is this place? Where is it? And what is its story? Appalachia, the mountains are like no other. From its rigid terrain, beautiful wildlife, to the people that live their lives here, to the strange, unexplained stories that folks share. Join me while I share this amazing place, one story at a time. This place is called Castle Hill Manor near Charlottesville, Virginia. Dr. Thomas Walker built the first rendition of the place in 1764. In 1741, Thomas married the widow Mildred Merriweather. Her husband passed, leaving her 15,000 acres of plantation to run. The two married, and Thomas decided to build themselves a beautiful manor. Thomas was best friends with Dr. Peter Jefferson, the father to none other than Thomas Jefferson, our very own president. When the doctor died, Thomas took the Jefferson boy in and raised him at his own. The first rendition was a clapboard colonial residence with a front porch facing west and 6 dormer windows. In the square hall, Thomas Jefferson played the violin while James Madison danced for hours. In 1781, the Castle Hill Manor would play a crucial role in delaying the British forces. Mildred Walker invited them in when they approached the manor. She entertained them while Jack Jewett ran to warn Governor Thomas Jefferson of the British Colonel Banastre Tarleton's plan to capture them. Thank goodness the British's plans failed. Over the years, quite a few presidents came to the Castle Manor for a little getaway. George Washington, James Madison, James Monroe, Patrick Henry, Andrew Jackson, Robert E. Lee, James Buchanan, Martin Van Buren, John Tyler, Henry Clay, Daniel Webster is a list of a few visitors. Sadly, November the 9th, 1794, Thomas Walker would pass, leaving his wife and elder kids to run the manor. Mildred would pass some years later. The manor was passed to the eldest son, Francis. Francis married Jane Bird, the daughter of Governor Nelson. Governor Nelson was in charge of Yorktown. Once Francis and Jane passed, their daughter Judith Page inherited the manor. Judith married Senator William Campbell Reeves, a law student of Thomas Jefferson who taught law at Monticello. During his tenure at the castle, Reeves wrote a 3-part biography on James Madison. In 1824, William Reeves added a brick Federal-style addition. Captain John Perry built the addition, and he was one of Thomas Jefferson's master brick masons. In 1844, William Phillips added the column conservatories. Philip was yet another one of Thomas Jefferson's masons. When William and Judith passed, their son Alfred Landon Reeves would take over. Alfred was Robert E. Lee's chief of engineer during the Civil War. Alfred married Sarah Catherine McMurdo, and when they passed, their daughter Amelie Louise Reeves inherited the Castle Manor. Amelie married artist and Russian prince Pierre Trubetsky. Amelie was a prominent romantic novelist and early feminist. She wrote Virginia, The Quick or the Dead, and Barbara Deering. Amelie and the Castle Hill Manor were featured in the New York Times April the 15th, 1906. In the early 1900s, Amelie's sister Gertrude Potts managed the estate after their father's death. Gertrude was the first woman minister of foxhounds. She imported and trained a pack of English foxhounds. She also bred her own breed of horses, and she taught them how she wanted them to run while running the foxhounds. There were formal gardens built on the manor grounds. Gertrude published an article on the historic gardens of Virginia in 1923. The great box hedge found at the top of the gardens are the tallest, most impressive boxwood hedges in Virginia. In 1997, the multi-terrace symmetrical gardens were added, expanding the gardens. Today, the Castle Hill is actually a private residence. So, many wonder, just how do you find such a place to write about in the first place? Well, I was poking around a website with haunted places and stumbled across the story of Castle Hill Manor. Here are a few stories that people have written over the years of their encounter. Many guests at the manor have reported being awoken from their sleep by the sound of knocking and footsteps in the room, though not a soul was up. Some have seen a pretty lady walking around the grounds. Many stories vary on her demeanor. If she likes you, she is playful. If she doesn't, and you're in her room, she will do weird things like banging, knocking stuff over, and awaken you until you leave. Finally, the sounds of glasses clinking, footsteps and chairs moving, people dancing can be heard. It's thought that this is from when Amelie and her Russian prince Pierre Trubetsky had their extravagant parties every weekend. Once they passed, for some reason, their parties never ended. Well, folks, I want to thank you for sitting and listening to the historic tale of the Castle Hill Manor. Well, I appreciate you listening. I love yous to pieces. And I'll see you next time.